Welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you on this adventure for Carbon Crew. Want to give you a little bit of background that's going to help you understand why we're here and what we're up to. Next, please. We're inspired to start Crew after 40 plus years of trying to educate people and cajole people. A couple of things really stood out, and one is the book Drawdown, and the other is the book 2040. What was so compelling about Project Drawdown's work? And drawdown is that point in time when greenhouse gases stop and start to come on down. But what they did is brought together scientists and researchers, and they found 80 actionable solutions, and they prioritized them for impact. So this is the most powerful, and as you can see, the name of the book, most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming, because it is the only plan. In addition to that, another thing is that it does not require policy. We know from 50 years of working on political kinds of things, nothing has been done that makes the difference that needs to happen. And one of the clinchers is that Paul Hawken comes from this place of optimism. This is our time. It's not happening to us. It's happening for us. This is our chance to come together, to be creative and collaborative with compassion and our own genius. The other opportunity that came when we saw the movie 2040 that Damon Gameau made, and he comes from a place of vision. What could the year 2040 look like for us? He paints wonderful pictures, and we're drawn toward those solution sets. He works intimately with Paul Hawken and Paul Hawken's drawdown impact material. And some other things that we learned when we went through this book, 2040, is the power of how change happens. You can see that in the diffusion of innovation curve, go down to the left, and you see that 13.5% are early adopters. That's you and me. We're the people there. We're the ones taking the next step. And we're the ones that end up swaying the early majority. And that's businesses, and that's policy and everything else. And then that group of people persuades the late majority, and change happens. So we want to get to that 13.5% of early adopters tipping point. But Erica Chenoweth, who's a professor at Harvard, did some really interesting studies about the last 120 years. When nonviolent government takeovers happens with only 3.5% of the population. And they're a very vocal group of the population. So instead of working with even that 13.5% of early adopters, all we're working on is identifying 3.5% of the population ready for their next step, and ready to take our actions and ready to tell other people about it. So this is just huge, that we're not trying to cajole or convince or make people do things. We can just look at our friends and allies that are like us to make the difference happen. And I want to show you next step how quickly that can happen. If we are doing these crews together, and as we go along, we're learning how the process goes. We're learning how to actually go out and replicate this ourselves. So if there is a crew, and for example, 4 people in the crew replicate, and another 4 replicate, and another 4 replicate, you can see, for example, on Eastern Long Island, where I live, that it only takes less than 7 iterations for us to hit the tipping point. This is huge impact. This is fast impact. And this is exactly what we are working together, you and I. So thank you so much for being here. So we've created this Carbon Crew, and it's got a very unique model. We're working from the vision. We're moving toward that vision. We're using optimism, which is so important for us to be in this space of creating that future. We're working on action. We're creating our personal climate action plans so that we can know what we want to do in these next 5 years. And we'll be using Drawdown's hierarchical system so that we're creating maximum impact, taking our very own next steps. We're also doing this in community. When we work in these little crews together, we inspire one another. We take bigger actions. You're going to have so much fun. I'm jealous already. Now I'll be in another one too. But community is what makes all the difference. And because we've got this open source curriculum, you'll be able to take this out to your community, or we'll help you find a community so it can be replicated and we can create that exponential growth we were talking about. We supported one another for our successes. After we finished our sessions, we give the opportunity for us to come back together in a month, having told one another what we want to be working on. And that makes such a difference when we project out, tell people, and report on it. Our successes are so much stronger. And another really important thing that I want you to really dig into here, and that is the UN Environmental Program report several years ago in their studies found that 2/3 of all emissions are created by choices at the household level. And I'm going to say that again because this is so important. 2/3 of all emissions are determined by choices at the household level. In studies in Europe, they say that it's actually 72% of all emissions, and other studies show that in the United States, it's 80% of all emissions are determined by choices at our household level. So we are focusing by beginning with the individual and household, even though we'll work toward policy, but that's not our starting place. So these are the unique ways that we are all coming together in this carbon crew. Thank you so much for being on this adventure. And I want you to really know that you really are the most important person. You make all the difference. Hope you have a great session. Bye-bye.